The whiteboard marker exists because thinking in groups is unstable. Before whiteboards, shared writing relied on tools that left residue: chalkboards, paper charts, overhead transparencies. Each carried friction. Chalk was erasable, but messy and imprecise. Paper was clean, but permanent. Ink fixed ideas in place even when they were still forming. These tools worked for instruction, but not for exploration. They assumed the writer already knew what needed to be said. As collaborative work increased, meetings, classrooms, brainstorming sessions, this assumption became a problem. Groups do not think linearly. Ideas overlap. People interrupt. Directions change mid-sentence. A tool that punished revision slowed the process. The whiteboard marker emerged to solve this by separating visibility from permanence. Instead of absorbing ink, the whiteboard surface repels it. The marker's ink dries just enough to stay put, but never enough to bond. This creates a new category of writing: present, legible, and disposable. This disposability is the marker's most important feature. The ink formulation balances evaporation and adhesion. Dry too fast and writing becomes scratchy. Dry too slow and it smears. The correct balance allows writing that feels confident but remains erasable hours or days later. The tip design reinforces this. Felt tips compress slightly, accommodating uneven pressure and movement. They forgive shaky hands and hurried strokes. This encourages speed over accuracy, which is essential when ideas are forming faster than they can be refined. Color selection reflects the same priorities. Black, blue, red, and green dominate because they read clearly from a distance. Subtle shades would invite nuance, but nuance slows comprehension. Whiteboard markers are optimized for shared understanding, not personal expression. The barrel shape is purely utilitarian. Cylindrical or slightly faceted, it rolls just enough to remind you it can be lost, but not enough to feel deliberate. The marker is not meant to feel precious. It is meant to be grabbed. The cap serves two purposes. It seals moisture, but it also signals status. Cap on means pause. Cap off means active. In many rooms, an uncapped marker becomes a visual cue that thinking is underway. Human behavior is deeply embedded here. People forget to recap markers. They leave them on trays, desks, ledges. Dry out is inevitable. The design accepts this. Markers are consumable by nature. Longevity is sacrificed for immediacy. This trade-off is intentional. A permanent marker that never dried out would require stronger solvents, stronger odors, and stronger commitment. Whiteboard markers choose convenience over durability. The eraser completes the system. It doesn't clean deeply. It sweeps. The board never returns to pristine white. Ghosting remains. Faint traces linger. This matters more than it seems. Those traces remind the group that ideas existed here before. They create continuity without permanence. The board feels used, not authoritative. This is where behavior shifts. People speak more freely when the record can be erased. They propose ideas they wouldn't commit to paper. They revise publicly. They cross things out without embarrassment. The marker creates psychological safety by lowering the cost of being wrong. The moment of realization comes when you notice how differently people behave once the board is wiped clean. Conversation resets. Ownership dissolves. The space invites new contributions. The marker didn't just replace chalk, it replaced hesitation. Digital tools eventually tried to replicate this environment. Virtual whiteboards, shared documents, collaborative canvases. Many succeeded technically, but struggled emotionally. The physical act of erasing remains powerful. Watching an idea disappear together signals closure in a way a delete key does not. This explains why whiteboard markers persist even in highly digital spaces. They anchor abstract thought to physical action. They make change visible. The marker's limitations are part of its strength. It cannot store ideas long-term. It cannot preserve detail. It forces translation into essentials. What survives the board is what mattered most. Invisible design often succeeds by constraining outcomes in helpful ways. The whiteboard marker does this quietly. It limits permanence so that participation increases. It limits precision so that speed improves. When it works well, the marker disappears into the process. Attention shifts to the ideas, not the tool. And when the board is wiped clean, nothing feels lost, only ready.